Over the years, I've shown you multiple ways to get those sleeping pads inflated. Everything from those airbags to electronic inflators, from industrial strength ones to teeny tiny ones specifically designed for hiking. Now, I've also shown the Flextail Tiny Pump in multiple videos. So after a couple years, Flextail finally reached out to me and asked if I'd do a video for them. So if you've ever had to blow up an air mattress or two, or maybe even a kayak after a long day of hiking, then this video is for you. Today we're checking out the winner of the 2024 Paris Design Award, the Flextail Zero Pump. The smallest pump in their lineup, but does it pack a punch? Say that 50 times fast. Let's find out. But before we get started, I wanted to say that I only do honest reviews, and any comments I have are my own. And by the looks of it, Flextail not only appreciates it, but expects it. So I wanted to take a second to read you the comments directly from the email that I had with them. Once you have a chance to test it out, please feel free to let me know if you have any test feedback on it. We're always open to suggestions and make positive changes. Looking forward to your response. I love that. And personally, I always appreciate it when vendors take their feedback seriously and modify their products accordingly. Let's see what we have right out of the box. Now, out of the box, this thing's tiny, like palm of your hand tiny. It's smaller than most power banks, and at less than 100 grams, this thing's small. Now the build quality feels extremely solid for something so tiny, but let's not judge it on size alone. Now it does have a double tap function, so when it's in your pack, if you accidentally hit it once, it's not going to be that big of an issue. Listen how quiet that is. It's pretty quiet. And it also comes with this cool lanyard. It also comes with a bunch of different nozzle attachments, specifically designed for the top vendors. And look, they're rubberized, they're not plastic. So these are going to be able to form fit specifically to multiple vendors, including Climate, Nemo, Big Agnes, and others. And while they don't have every vendor listed here, this fit on my REI Helix like a glove. And they kind of fit together nicely for easy storage. Also in the box comes your standard USB-C charging cable and some instructions. But who needs those? I'll save them anyways. Thank you, buddy. Okay, watch out, back up. Now look how easy this is. Put that on there. It fits nice and snug, like super snug. And the cool thing is when you want to deflate it, you just pop it on the other side. Like so. Now let's go ahead and fill up a couple mattresses and see how long it takes. Since the nozzle attachments are rubber, there's more leeway in making a snug connection. That means you can set it and forget it, and not have to sit there and hold it or monitor it while it's doing its job. And the pitch will change slightly to let you know it's done. And while this is small, and probably not the fastest, it still only took about a minute to complete. But the real question is, does it have enough juice to last for more than one use? Let's keep testing. Now let's see if it'll do the weird Big Agnes twist lock one too. Did notice that they are labeled as well. So like this one here is an F1, while this one is an F2. And you can find it on the chart right there. Now just as I suspected, it did have one that fit it nicely, and you can tell how quiet it is as well. I'm already getting sold on being able to just get up and walk away. After about a minute, that one's done as well. Now let's talk about how easy it is to charge. If I had one complaint about the product, it would be in this area. Instead of a port being on the outside, you're forced to unscrew it, pull out the battery, and plug it in. Is this really the best design option? I'll come back to that in a moment. This has a USB-C charging port directly on the battery. The battery also has a tiny LED that is red while charging and turns green when it's fully charged. Now, while they may have done it this way, while it could have been that they just didn't want the extra parts in there or couldn't afford the extras to keep the size and weight down, or it could have been another reason. And this is just speculation, but you see, products like this feature a completely closed design, making changing the battery out impossible without destroying the product. Just as all good things must come to an end, batteries, even rechargeable batteries, have a limited lifespan. However, with this open architecture, these batteries can be changed out just like most flashlights to make sure that this product can be used for years to come. Also, if you take a quick look at the Flextail website, it looks like they sell the rechargeable batteries, also known as the Zero battery, for about 13 bucks. Now, just like all my content, I want to see what the world thinks about this. Let's head on inside and see what the haters are saying. Before we get onto the internet, I wanted to say that I took my REI Helix and filled it up 25 times before I finally got bored. That's definitely plenty of battery life to take care of not only my sleeping pad, but my entire crew for, what, like a 3-day hike? Alright, so let's take a look at this first guy. Now I gotta warn you, he's got a pretty thick southern draw, so I'll have to interpret it for you afterwards.
So based on my test, I got one inflation at the weekend, my 3-season X-Ped Sin mat, and then I got one full inflation as well of the bigger down mat. So that would suggest to me you'd probably get 3 inflations of a regular sort of 3-season mat. So it's only for 1 or 2 nights away, so bear that in mind.
So I'm a little confused. He basically said that he inflated 2 pads and he expects that this is only going to work for 1 or 2 nights. I did mine 25 times, so I don't get it. Alright, that was fun, but that's the only one I'm going to do. I thought I was going to see more about people complaining about having to unscrew it, but surprisingly I couldn't find too many. Alright, so I'm in my kitchen cooking chili, which is the perfect place to go ahead and weigh this thing. Now let's talk a little bit about its construction too. And like I said, this is a rubberized or silicone nozzle, and this is quite a change. This is aluminum as opposed to everything being plastic these days. Let's see how much it weighs. Now the outside clearly says 1.2. However, on the scale, it's showing 1.9. Now here's why. If you take the battery out and put it back on, we're 1.3, but only because I added the lanyard. So if I take that off, we're at 1.2. However, I don't like how the box shows 1.2 because I think everything needs a trail weight. And unfortunately, without a battery and without a nozzle, this thing's really just a super light boat anchor. So all in all, we're at 2.2 ounces. Or 62 grams, which is still lighter than one of those bags used to air up with. That would be a great marketing campaign. Alright, so let's break it down between the pros and cons. So here's some of the biggest reasons to go for a Zero Pump. It's super lightweight and tiny. This thing can fit right into your front pocket, or maybe even that tiny little pocket behind your normal pocket. It's surprisingly powerful for its size. It can inflate a range of things between sleeping pads, pillows, kayaks, you name it. And it's got an ultra quiet operation. And don't get me wrong, the deflation feature is a nice bonus. Now let's talk about the cons, or why you wouldn't get it. It's quiet and it's small, but it's not the fastest pump, especially if you're doing something like kayaks or larger things. Now while the battery life is solid, if you're looking to inflate multiple large items, you may have to recharge sooner than expected. Now last but not least, and probably my biggest issue, is having to recharge the battery. Unscrewing this and screwing it back in every time means that there's kind of an unnatural wear and tear that you're going to be putting on this every single time. With every unscrew and rescrew, there's a chance that something will get misthreaded or unaligned. Happens to spark plugs, happens to all sorts of stuff every day. So who's the Flextail Zero Pump for? If you're a minimalist camper or backpacker and needs to save on space and weight, this pump is perfect. It's also great for casual campers who don't want to lug around a full-size pump. But if you're inflating something massive and you're on a multi-day trip without charging options, you might want to consider a backup plan. And as always, if you found this video helpful, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe. We'll see you next week. If you like this type of content, make sure you check out our YouTube channel where we have hundreds of videos just like this. If you want to see our newest adventures, be sure to click the subscribe button and ring that bell so you never miss another video.